We have heard suggestions from your Democratic colleagues like Chuck Schumer and Congressman Adam Smith that there is this attempt to conceal or slow walk the release of the full video of the strike. Coming out of your meeting with Secretary Hegseth, do you share that opinion?
I'm really concerned. I mean, here's an administration that brags about these videos when it suits their purposes. They show them on a regular basis. This strike on September 2nd, they had the video out very shortly afterwards, Pete Hegseth bragging about it. Now that there's questions about whether the rules were followed, he is, one, trying to avoid personal responsibility, and two, he's saying he somehow has to have, make sure that it's not classified. That argument doesn't hold any water at all. I would believe that this video should be shown to the American public, and at the very least to every member of Congress who has a top secret classification. I even said, listen, you show the videos where you show a boat, you show the explosion, you show the immediate aftermath. Why not at least show the video portion where their survivors are there, the actions they're taking, and then the secondary and the next three strikes take place? How can you say one is okay and this one isn't okay? I think we're going to keep the pressure on. I think there were even members, other members of the administration in the room that realized that Secretary Hegseth's argument, couldn't pass the smell test, that said they'll see what they can reach out. But this is trying to avoid responsibility. I'd also quickly add, because I have been very reluctant to kind of reach a conclusion about whether this was a war crime or not, because once you make that conclusion, you can't take it back. So I've also requested, the execution order, the after-action report, the legal opinion that the admiral had that may have justified this strike. I'm saying I want to see those documents before I reach a final conclusion. The fact that, and I think the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who was in the meeting, I think he'd be willing to share those. But Pete Hegseth, again, who's so far over his skis in terms of ability to run the Defense Department, it's ridiculous, but I'm afraid that he's holding back that information as well.
Senator, the Pentagon is insisting that these targets on these boats are unlawful combatants, as they call them, similar to what we saw with al-Qaeda members who were not wearing conventional military uniforms. Is there a precedent for the Pentagon to release videos of operations against targets like these in the past? And is there a danger in revealing some of this video to members of Congress or even the wider public?
Well, we have seen videos from the war on terror where trucks were blown up or terrorists were blown up. The idea that this administration is equating, in effect, the possession of drugs as equal to the possession of bombs or weapons of war, I think that's quite a stretch. It's one of the reasons why I also think their overall legal opinion, which we finally got released to Congress, ought to be released to the whole public. Hegseth is holding that back. In terms of the rationale here, I want to try to give the military, the chance to lay out all the reasons. That's why I want the execution order. That's why I want the JAG opinion. That's why I want to see if this even legal opinion, which, by the way, came out and was finally printed September 5th, was it altered after September 2nd because some of these actions were potentially so egregious. There's a lot in this legal opinion that talks about, military shouldn't be held liable. Those are all critical facts. And then there is the video itself, which I think they have no legal basis. They could edit it down to just the evidence of the survivors, what happened and how they were taken out, how that's any different than the videos they've shown. Again, it doesn't pass the smell test. And I think if every member of Congress saw this, the pressure would mount on the public seeing it. And the absurdity is this: Donald Trump said he'd be happy to share the video. So what is he hiding behind now?
So despite your call for more information, for that legal opinion, the House Armed Services Chair, Mike Rogers, confirmed to MS Now that he's going to end the inquiry into the boat strikes. Let's listen to him.
We've saw the video, got all our questions answered, talked yesterday at length with Admiral Halsey. I know everything that happened, and I'm completely comfortable we got all the facts.
And you feel comfortable and you believe that the administration acted within its bounds and its
I
legal
absolutely
authority?
do.
Sir, is this all just partisanship? Why are we seeing such disparate accounts of what happened on the video for those who have seen it and for the request for transparency in the aftermath of it?
Well, there's an awful lot of Republicans who've been asking for this transparency as well. And respectfully to the House chairman, I think baloney would be my polite response to his conclusion. And if there's nothing there to see, share it with this whole committee. Share it with the whole Intelligence Committee. Share it with the Congress. Let people reach their own conclusions. I've said this video is beyond disturbing. I think if all members of Congress would see it, I think the pressure to get it fully released would only go up.
You think that's going to happen, Senator?
Well, listen, I think we're going to keep the pressure on. I'm going to be with my Intelligence Committee members this afternoon. I'm not sure, and they are cleared at an even higher level. Are they going to all throw in the towel and say they've given up on their oversight responsibilities? You know, the good news is at least Senator Wicker on the Senate side, I don't believe is thrown in the towel. This was important enough, dangerous enough that there ought to be transparency. We need the documentation. Congress at least ought to see the video. I think the whole American public should see the video because you don't want just a few of us reaching a conclusion because the conclusion could be so damning that it would have huge ramifications. That's why I've held back on reaching a conclusion, but I want my colleagues to have the same kind of information that I have.
Senator Mark Warner, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.